Hello everyone, this is Hunter, and welcome to another episode of Game Guides. In this video, I'm going to cover 9 things I wish I had known about the Outer Worlds 2 when I had started playing. So sit back, like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what your favourite fact was about the Outer Worlds, and if you already knew these tips and tricks. So, first of all, choosing your traits right at the start of the game sort of defines your run. Well, you can normally only choose one trait. You can choose to pick up a negative trait, which allows you to take a second positive trait. I would really recommend doing this on your first run and taking the dumb negative trait. This locks 5 out of the 12 skills, meaning that you can never add points to them. But you only get 2 skill points per level, which means you aren't really going to be able to invest in all 12 skills. So if you choose to lock 5 skills right from the start that you are unlikely to use, all this does is help focus your build and make sure you don't get overwhelmed by a large variety of choices throughout the playthrough. Next is the best starting weapon in the game. This is the Rookie's Reward gun. This gun is located in your ship, the Incognito, and you will find this gun in the room that also houses your pets. The gun is locked behind a container that requires lockpick 11. Naturally, this is a ridiculously high lockpick requirement, meaning you would have to be level 9 to get this gun normally. However, if you just go over behind these boxes and flick this little button, you'll be able to disable the power and unlock the gun chest, getting one of the best guns you can possibly have right at the start of the game. And this gun also levels, meaning you are going to have a consistent companion right throughout the game. Speaking of consistent companions, the next thing is less combat relevant, but sometimes there are things more important than combat, and that is your pets. In this game you are able to collect pets and have them live on your ship with you. They're much like your companions, but much more likable, as they talk a lot less. There are 2 pets early on in the game that you can get. One is a Krabby that you can get from the Krabby Farmer, seen here on the map. All you need to do to get the Krabby is to cure it of its illness, which you can happily do with a trauma kit or a medical check if you have gone into that skill.
Looks like she's feeling much better.
The other early game pet is a hover drone, which you can buy from the automated wares robot in the Euphoria Repair Center. This is located here on the map. Now you can only have 1 pet out at a time, so you are going to have to pick favorites, and naturally you are going to have to pick the Krabby. Heading back into combat, sneak attacks or attacking people from stealth. You will notice that when you go into stealth and look at an enemy, you will be able to see how much health they have. But you will also notice that there is a purple bar taking up a portion of that health. Now, this isn't shielding or some type of barrier. This is how much damage you are going to do to that enemy when you attack them. Naturally, this can be increased by having a critical hit or hitting a weak spot, but it is a good indicator of whether or not you should be taking this fight and whether or not you should maybe go level up a little bit more first. I'll admit this one took me a lot longer to realize than I should be admitting, and I also think it is mentioned in the tutorial. So continuing on with the stealth theme, we're going to have a look at this red grass. Much like in the last Outer Worlds game, you can crouch down and hide in long grass to be hidden from enemies. They won't be able to see you easily, and this allows you to sneak up to your opponent and get a quick, sneaky critical strike. That being said, once you fire your gun, the enemy is going to know that there's someone around. So if you don't one-shot them instantly with a silenced weapon, they are going to come looking for you, and long grass is not the be-all and end-all of hiding, so you will likely have to run. This one is a little more obvious, but at the same time I feel like I should mention it. And that is the insta-kill environmental hazards. So far I have managed to die from falling from a high place, jumping into a rift in space, and turns out that while you are able to infinitely crouch underwater, implying you don't need to breathe, you can't swim and instantly drown if you get to anything of a relatively high depth. The first one is definitely on me. Heights are obviously dangerous, but come on, the rift one could have just had treasure behind it, and if I could crouch in the water forever, why can't I swim? Don't look at me like that. Double jump is something you will get relatively early, and is something you do need for the main quest, but I recommend going straight to collect it as soon as the game starts. You can pick up the double jump from this spot on the map, where you will find two workers of Auntie's Choice who have been witness to a workplace incident. None of that really matters, but the workplace incident in question will give you the double jump boots. Now, the trapped workers will want you to pick up a MacGuffin and deliver it to them to get them out of their situation, and honestly it's probably worth doing, because it does give you a good feel of the parkour and what the boots can do, plus at the end you do get a monetary reward, which is always nice. But help them or not, the boots make the game a lot easier to move around in, and are just pretty fun. Now, the floors system. As you play through the game and repeat certain acts, you may unlock a floor. A floor is like an extra perk that comes with a notable benefit, but also a notable downside. For example, I came across the floor Bad Knees, which increases my movement speed while crouching, but because my knees are now fucked, I will make noise that can be heard within 10 meters of myself while crouching. These are really interesting and are a great way to really make your individual character runs unique. However, keep in mind you cannot unequip these floors once they have been chosen. So make sure you actually want to keep this floor for your full playthrough, and that you believe the benefit will outweigh the cost before you accept it. Now, lastly, I'm going to be recommending that we actually turn off a feature of the game. Sometimes when you kill an enemy, it appears to be mostly from critical hits, but does just seem to happen on some other enemy deaths. The game will enter into a cinematic killing of that enemy. This can be them dramatically falling to the ground, losing their head in explosive gore, or whatever. While these do look cool, you seem to be the only one viewing this cinematic, which means that enemies will continue to move and shoot. Now, I do think they move in the slowdown time relative to the cinematic, but that does still mean they are still moving while you are standing still. And there has been more than one occasion, especially fighting the Krabbies, where I have killed one of them, gone into a cinematic, only to come out of said cinematic to have a fireball slam me in the face. The cinematics are pretty cool, but I do not think they outweigh the downside of sometimes just dying. Well, those are my 9 tips to start your Outer Worlds adventure off right. I hope you learned something about the Outer Worlds too. If you did, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button. If you didn't and you think I have missed something particularly obvious, make sure to drop it in the comments so we can all pick up the tips. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I will see you in my next first impressions or game guide video. Bye for now.